What's going on, guys? It's Tony with Urban Girl Scout Media here today to talk to you a little bit on my drive home. Going to talk about March Madness. Going to talk about the tournament, talk about who we like and what we see, and go from there. So, first off, if you like the content you see on the channel, something you can do to help out, and it's of no cost to you, is just subscribe, like the videos, maybe even give us a share or two on social media. Anything you can do to help us out is always appreciated. I'm a very grateful person when I get any kind of response, whether it be good or bad. So, of course, we would hope for the good. With that being said, this is the second episode in my random talking. I don't know what I'm going to call this yet, so I'll figure that out. So I feel like I should probably get something in line here sooner than later. But for the second episode, we're going to talk about March Madness basketball. Bracket's been released. I am driving, so I don't have the exact bracket in front of me, but I've already filled out a couple, just for some fun pools that I like to get into. I gotta be honest, I like Duke, UNC, I think Virginia is pretty good. I hate to pick against Tom Izzo. Michigan State's always really good. Tournament time is their time. So, those are kind of the teams I really like. I think Duke and Michigan State end up playing each other fairly early. In my opinion, I think that they're Elite Eight, maybe. Sweet 16, something like that. I can't remember exactly. Again, I don't have my bracket right here in front of me. I'm two hands on the wheel driving, so I definitely see them, though. Those are the power teams. In terms of the teams that are going to kind of play spoiler, for some reason I just get this feeling Wichita State. Last time that I felt good about Wichita State like this, their undefeated season, I thought they were going to get past Kentucky in that second or third round, but just unreal. So I guess part of me feels like this is a good year to go with kind of the field, not just the chalk. I know that the teams I picked were just essentially chalk, top of the line blue bloods, but I think this is a good year to actually expand out and see what these other teams are capable of doing. So, I'm going to make a bracket or two that's just based on the upsets. I'm just going to make a bracket or two that does that. It's just based on where I think logical upsets will be. So, it's going to be really fun. This is the first time in quite a few years I've been really amped. This is the least amount of college basketball I've watched going into March Madness, but the most pumped I've been, because everything that I've gotten from college basketball this year is nobody knows for sure. Nothing is set, and it's almost anything can happen. And that's really how it feels. So I'm excited, and look for some videos this weekend, because I always have friends over for the first weekend in March Madness, and we do some pretty crazy stuff. One of the future videos I'm going to talk about is food, and you guys hopefully will see our love for Deep River at Urban Girl Scout Media. Deep River chips. So, but staying on topic with the March Madness stuff. So, the next thing I want to talk about is, how do you fill out your bracket? So, there's probably those people who they're hardcore. They want to try and shoot for as close to perfect as possible. It's hard to do that in this tournament. But that's how they want to approach it. They're aiming to be at the very top. They want to be the best. There's people who are just doing it for the fun. And then I think you have a good amount of people who are doing it for just because it's something that is going on in their office or in their workspace or dorm rooms, things like that. I think that because so many people do it, there's just certain people who get involved with it. So one of the questions that always gets asked is, how do you fill out these brackets? How do you how do you go about it and do all that? something that, and you guys are going to think I'm crazy for saying this, because I live by logic. I really do. I'm a man who, I believe that logic is logical. It's a very logical way to live. So, one of the most illogical things I've ever seen is this lady I worked with. Her name was Denise. And Denise, if you ever hear this, I just want you to know how much your ability to pick brackets has stuck with me. So Denise was not a sports fan. Denise was very much just for the fun of the madness. And, well, I'll be damned if she didn't just pick based on which animal would win a fight. And if I'm not mistaken, like 2 or 3 years in a row, she got very close to the top of the pools that she entered in, if not won them, and did better than me in a couple of them, just based on what animals she believes would win in a fight. So there's no real right or wrong way, and that story just always stuck with me, because I've seen people do based on colors. I've seen people do based on what they know about the school in a academic sense, not an athletic sense. And then I saw a woman basically for 2 or 3 years just wreck a bracket or wreck a pool with, I just think that this animal would win the fight. So, and I hate to say this now, but looking back on it, I think that she was one of those people who we just kind of want another body in the pool. So, but I mean, how do you guys do it? Me personally, I like to, we always know there's going to be some upsets in the first round. There should be. The first two rounds, there should be some upsets. So I always look for 1 or 2 of those. Some of the apps will give you pretty good information on, who's really running it defensively or offensively, or who's got strengths at what position, injuries, things like that. That's helpful. I'm not going to pick a number 1 seed to go very deep in a tournament if, their starting point guard, All-American point guard, is out. That's just, common sense. So after that, though, it really comes down to the matchups. But the first 2 rounds is really about just trying to thin out who cannot survive a 2-day span. One of the things that I've always admired is that when a team is able to keep their composure in March Madness, that says a lot, because there's just so much going on. I mean, there really is, and you're just surrounded by the times that we live in, and the pressure that's put on these young kids is just insane. So, and they know the world they're living in. They're not stupid. So, I mean, it's insane. So I try to find teams that have a little bit better composure. I like teams that have won a lot of close games late. That's always something I really like, because you have to have some sort of composure to win a lot of close games. Now, who those close games are against matters. If you're a nobody podunk team and you're beating top-seeded opponents, well, I'll take that. But if you're a top-seeded opponent barely scooting by, or a top-seeded team, and you're barely scooting by these bottom dwellers, well, then, that's where we have to be concerned. So, but, I don't know, it's something that, excuse me, it's something that every year, I always have felt like, man, I've got a good bracket this year. This is my fucking year. It's my fucking year. Nah, it's never my fucking year. I think the best I've done is maybe like a 2nd or 3rd place in like a local friendly pool. I mean, I've never won an actual March Madness pool, so it'd be fun to. It'd be fun to, definitely would like to put that on the bucket list. I don't know how many more of those I'll get, but you definitely got to play in a bunch to win, I guess. So, anyways, that's all I got, I guess. I really don't know. Not having the sheet in front of me, and I'm not a big fan of dissecting those kinds of games in March or in college basketball. I'm not really a big fan of going into the deep analytics. There's a couple players like Miles Bridges from Michigan State. I'm excited to see him play. He's an exciting player. I mean, that there's no taking it away from him. So there's certain guys that we're all going to be excited to see play. Whether they're going to go pro or this could be their last go round. There's a few teams I'm sure we're excited about, things like that. I mean, hell, Steph Curry's got me excited about Davidson, so I think I picked them to win a round or two in one of my brackets just based on his excitement. So, but that's it, guys. I don't really have a lot else for this drive home talking. Still working on a title. Not really sure what to do. I'm just going to put a bunch of these together, and there's some good topics going on right now between Magic, March Madness, some other stuff like that. I just thought that it would be a good time to experiment with this a little bit, and hopefully this catches on, and hopefully we're able to kind of make something fun of this. So, but yeah, that's going to do it for this edition, and go ahead and subscribe below. We'll see you next time. Thanks.